It's halftime. Tomorrow is Groundhog Day, believe it or not. Who knows if any rodents will see their shadows? Around here, I don't think they will emerge. Certainly, I'm not sure they can emerge, given what the ground looks like. And in fact, it's been tough for any of us to emerge this past week. Groundhog Day is a secular holiday, but its roots lie in the religious observation of Candlemas Day. The ditty associated with the day goes like this: if Candlemas Day be fair and bright, winter will have another flight. If Candlemas Day be wind and rain, winter has gone and will not come again. Sound familiar? Apparently it spawned the following: groundhog in your hole so deep, lift your head and take a peep. If your shadow makes you leap, curl back up and go to sleep. Elegance. The Candlemas Day means much more than long-range weather forecasting or instructions for rodents. It marks halftime. Winter is halfway gone. We're exactly halfway through the time between the winter solstice in December and the vernal equinox, the spring equinox in March. We're halfway there, folks. We can do this. February 2nd also marks other festival times. It marks a day for the purification of Mary, 40 days since the birth of Jesus. And Mary obeyed Mosaic law that required a ritual cleaning 40 days after childbirth, a visit to the mikvah, a tradition that is still observed among many Orthodox Jewish women. The day also marks the presentation of Jesus at the temple and the witness of Simeon and Anna. And had we been in a different liturgical year, you would have heard as the gospel reading the presentation of Jesus at the temple and the words of Simeon and Anna. Except for perhaps Easter and Christmas, February 2nd is maybe the biggest holiday in the church year. Candlemas Day, a day of light, the purification of Mary, the presentation of Jesus, all rolled into one. And we celebrate it with a groundhog. Halftime. What happens at halftime? It's a time to assess, a time to regroup, a time to rest, a time to plan, a time for an inspirational message, a time to come together as a team. Our gospel lesson this morning is the Beatitudes, excerpted from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. First observation, it's all spoken and then later written in inclusive plural language. Blessed are, not blessed is. This is a message to the community. A time to come together as a team. That's what halftime is for. So what's the plan? For that, we begin with the message from Micah. He has told you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly before your God. Do justice, love kindness, walk humbly. Halftime. There's the plan. The late Hebrew Bible scholar Walter Brueggemann wrote of a sense of powerlessness experienced by the people of Micah's day. It is now agreed among a growing number of scholars, he insisted, that Micah is the voice of the village peasant against the rapacious power of the state. The peasants watched carefully the growing and shameless power of the Jerusalem government. that urban scientific military industrial establishment had usurped the well-being of the little people. So Micah raises the justice question with reference to that social development, the growing power of the urban state. Micah pleading to the little people, do justice, walk humbly. The first beatitude echoes the words of Micah. Blessed are the poor in spirit. The village peasant in Jesus' time was no better off than the peasant in the time of Micah. Oppression was the rule of the day, and the people felt beaten down by the power of Rome, beaten down by the Jewish authorities who lorded it over them. Beaten down, poor in spirit. Jesus reminds them that they are favored in the eyes of God. Halftime, a time for an inspirational message. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Scholars are mixed when it comes to interpreting the Beatitudes. Some argue that they're a blueprint for how to live a life. You want to be a member of the groups Jesus is addressing. Halftime, a time to plan. Others argue that they're a statement of God's intentions. They see it in the words of Warren Carter as ways in which God acts in the imperial world to favor not the privileged powerful, but the oppressed poor, deprived of, but struggling for justice. Halftime, a time to assess. How do we interpret the Beatitudes? Well, we're Lutherans, so we like to replace either or with both and. And so I suggest to you that the way we should think of the Beatitudes is both a plan and an assessment, what we do at halftime. I have been taken this past week with the walk of the Monks for Peace. Perhaps you have seen stories on this that's finally making the news. After 2,000 of their 2,300 miles, they're finally getting some press. A group of monks has been walking from Texas to Washington, D.C., walking humbly, walking day after day. They began in sweltering heat. They've traveled through North Carolina in snow and ice, walking humbly, seeking justice, loving kindness. Today, tomorrow, Tuesday, this group of monks will pass through the Richmond area. You might have the opportunity to line a street and just wish them well. They've had troubles, illnesses. They have a faithful dog that walks with them. And the faithful dog had surgery. The faithful dog has walked just as hard as the monks. I see those monks as living a life inspired by the Beatitudes. Theirs is a journey. Our life is a journey. Their life, will it make a difference in peace for the world? That's a long shot, isn't it? Is it going to bring peace to them? I think yes. What actions you take in following the prophecy of Micah, in following the words of Jesus? Will it make a difference? Can you individually bring peace to this world? Can you individually bring justice? Probably also a long shot. But you can bring justice and peace for yourself. And remember, It's only halftime. We got a full second half to play. You've got the plan. You've got the inspirational message. You know where we stand. Let's go get them. Amen.